Well, Patrick, my friend, you and your boys up in the front office, you had a nice laugh about this one. You needed to pull out all your usual tricks to beat the Lions at home. I get it. You're afraid. I'm not worried about this. I kind of felt like we were going to have to lose a game again at some point. Um, I hate to quote Mike Valeni this early on after this game, but where you said relax, you're not going to go 16-1. You got a good team. With that being said, that was stupid. Fourth down, yes. St. Brown drops it. He never drops the ball. I'll give you that. But you can't go into Arrowhead, especially in the beginning of the season, when they're down 2-3, and expect that they're not going to pull out all the stops. I mean, their fans are just as passionate as our fans. They're not going to let them. They're not going to let them be let down. I mean, let's just be honest with you. Like, Kansas City's a really good team still, and as long as Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are there, they're going to always, always, always be a good team. So, with that being said, thank you for joining me on this late Sunday evening. And I don't know, kind of thought to myself at the beginning of the game, what are you going to do if and when they lose? And here we are. I look at this opportunity to really humble ourselves and say, okay, you're going to make adjustments. You're going to have to take a little bit more serious, right? When you're playing these big home teams or playing these big Super Bowl contending teams, like, dude, if you're playing a team like the Bills, the Chiefs, and you're playing them when they're at home, dude, you got to be flawless. You have to be flawless. So I don't know. I'm not really too bummed out about this. I'm not really burned out about this one. I'm more so just kind of got to take our lickings in the public media. I guess it's not even that big of a deal. Michigan lost, the Lions lost, and the Tigers lost. So it was just a rough weekend for the city of Detroit when it comes to sports. But hey, that happens. We're early on right now in the season. The way I look at it is at least we're not the Eagles, right? They're losing in weird ways. This one was where I don't say we beat ourselves, but we did. We did beat ourselves on this one. We made sure that Kansas City had every opportunity to to use the refs to their full advantage, right? Whether it was lining up in the neutral zone, whether it was the pass interference, to me, it's just, I don't know. Who gives a shit? All I care about is Hermdo, and Hermdo's in the lobby. Sorry, Hermdo. I was setting up the Twitch. He says it's all over.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Sorry, I'm just reading your comments now.
Boy,
I don't know shit about Twitch. Let me tell you.
Me neither. I don't use that website. I'm scared of it.
I can't hear you.
There's a lot of terrorists on there. Oh, you can't hear me? That's weird.
Hermdo, you're
showing my mic is working.
Your microphone. I cannot hear what you're saying, sir.
Oh, for God's sake. All right.
Your live manage stream. I'm trying to manage my goddamn stream.
What the hell? It says, I don't know why this isn't working.
How can you name your fucking stream?
It says it's working. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with your voice. Can't hear you one bit.
I don't know.
You had this problem last time when we were doing this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you did you mute the thing?
Hello.
Did you bump the microphone? Mute it? No.
No, it's work. It's supposed to be. Fucking Christ. I don't know what's wrong with it.
God damn, those glasses look good on you too.
Thanks.
This is like a old black and white video.
Yeah. Oh, why is it?
Well, do you know sign language?
The mic. Yeah, hold on.
Doesn't know sign language.
Something else.
I'm gonna close all this shit.
That's weird. What did I do now?
I let him in the chat. He's here. We're just trying to work through his sound issues. But all right. So the bigger thing right now, guys, is there anybody out there really truly who's pissed off about that? Who's really still slamming around, pissed off, mad, burning their jersey, saying the season's over, blaming Jared Goff even though he put up great numbers, blaming the offensive coordinator for play calls.
Great.
I mean, are we at that childish level still as Lions fans? Is after a loss like that early on in the season against Kansas City? Is that where we're at? Are we doing tantrums still? Is that still a thing? I'm not. Maybe Wayne, shout out to you. Starting to see the bigger picture now with the NFL. On paper, that's just the kind of a game you're going to want to lose. I've gotten over this concept of winning every single game in the NFL. This isn't college football circa 10 years ago. You're building towards a bigger and better thing. And while we're battling out these injuries with our corners, and we're going to try and play guys like a Kansas City defense or a Kansas City team that, okay, and let's back this up too. Hopefully I can hear Hermdo.
Can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you, sir.
Oh, great. Now I can't hear him. Good.
God damn it, I can hear you now. It was me.
I can't.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
It wasn't.
I can't hear.
He can't hear a damn thing. I could hear. It was. Go right back to it, brother. Now you can hear me. I can hear you. Hermdo, I think you had it fixed the first time. I'm sorry, dude. I had my my speakers, my earbuds muted. So that was me, dude. Don't get frustrated. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at Jared Goff. It's okay. I think there's only a few folks watching earlier on. This is what happens in these live broadcasts. But we thank you for watching. Hopefully, if you're watching, you subscribed to this by now. Energy's a little bit lower than normal. Understandable though. But like I was saying, okay, back to here. Here comes my boy Hermdo. He's in the lobby. I don't want to talk about a lot of this stuff because I know he's going to want to say some stuff too.
This doesn't work. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I don't know what the hell that was. I apologize. That's, I'm going to get it together one of these days. But yeah, the Lions stink. All the haters were right. The season is over. It was over after week 1. But yeah, this was a pretty evenly matched game. Similar time of possession. I think, Ravens had, I'm sorry, not Ravens. Chiefs had a few minutes more. Similar passing yards, similar rushing yards. A lot of the stats looked the same. They had a few more plays than we did. their third down conversion was kind of the same. We had some penalties. We had 4 penalties for 38 yards. You'd think that wouldn't kill us, but it did, especially late in the fourth quarter. And
And that was it. It was the timing of those penalties that pissed me
yes,
off.
yes,
And that's why it's one of those things where you're going to put on your conspiracy situation and go, like, all the very few penalties we had for the very little yardage that we had, it was all just perfectly timed where it needed to give the Chiefs that upper hand, and it did. But guess
yeah,
what?
it did.
That's what you're going to get when you go to play there. That you're
Yeah,
always going to get
exactly,
that. You're going to get that every
exactly.
time.
It's just that the Chiefs are one of those teams. It's just like the Brady's Patriots. It's just like
Yep.
they're always going to get the nods. They're always going to win those little battles. They're always going to get the positive outcomes and whatnot. That's just one of those teams that just always seems to slide their way through these situations. They're the romantic storyline. Everybody loves the Chiefs.
Yep.
All that crap. But we lived through it. In the 2000s with Brady and whatnot. We know what it is. They're the fairy tale storyline. Taylor Swift and all that bullshit. But
Team Pfizer, yeah.
yeah, Team Pfizer. It's just the same shit with Kelsey's decrepit ass out there. I'm so sick of the goddamn Chiefs. And unfortunately, we couldn't take care of business against them today. We just, we had some opportunities, but we just didn't take them. It was just
That's
one of
it.
those things.
That's what it came down to, dude. Is this was a game where this wasn't a Lions team where we came out and we were bad or we were
Yeah.
flat or Goff was off, right? He had a passer rating of 118.
Yep.
This was a game where we just weren't we weren't on our A game, dude. And
No.
that's what's going to happen. And going to Kansas City, playing on the road early on in the season, corners are injured. They're going to get the full advantage of everything we just watched, every little
Yep.
call, every little pass interference.
Yep. Yep.
We've watched Jared Goff literally get mule kicked in the mouth 40 minutes after he made a play, and nothing happens, right?
Of
And
course. Of
Aiden
course.
Hutchinson shoves Patrick Mahomes, and you see
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes going, "Are you kidding me?" And it's like, oh my god. And that's what's
Oh
going to
my
happen
God.
in these games. And
It's nauseating.
we're not that team, and I don't even want to say that we'll ever be that team, because as long as Brady was with the Patriots, as long as Mahomes is with Kansas City, that's what they're going to get. So it is what it is. I'm kind of already honestly ready to move on to Tampa,
Yeah.
because that's the game where I think it's an even playing field. I don't think anything's tipped in anyone's favor. Obviously, we're at home Monday night, but
Yep.
it's not one of those games where, you know, Josh Allen is coming into. Well, I want to be careful with that because Baker Mayfield is playing pretty
Baker,
comparable ball.
Baker's on fire. I think about that every time I see Baker make some amazing throw or scramble when the
Yeah.
pocket collapses and just make some incredible throw downfield to one of his receivers. I think about the Browns and whatnot, and I think about him on the Carolina Panthers too. We thought he was going to be like a journeyman or something, but
Yeah.
no. I mean, Baker Mayfield really been impressing the last few years. He handed the Lions a loss opening. Was that week 2 of 2024? Or was that 2023? I don't remember, but it's just one of the teams. Baker can beat you, man. He's a dynamic quarterback. People were ready to give up on him, but he's having a real resurgence, and people should take note of it. I mean, he's in a good system in Tampa Bay. They know how to use him. He's got weapons around him. He's got a good line. They know what they're doing with Baker Mayfield, and he's able to play up to his strengths. And he's a dangerous quarterback. He's a guy, I'm kind of nervous about facing. That this is, like I said before, I think one of our older streams a couple weeks ago, this is going to be a tough stretch. You lost to the Chiefs. That sucks. The next 4 games are going to be tough. You're going against Eagles. You're going against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to come out, 3-2 or whatnot. At least can you win like 3 of the next 4 games or the next 5 games or whatever? You got to keep at it. Can the Lions play at that level? Because it looks like, we see them. I mean, that the win against the Ravens was electric. It was electric. You sacked Duh, duh.
Lamar Jackson,
Lamar Jackson. Jesus
7
Christ.
times.
You sacked him 7 times. You made them look like fools. But now it looks like I know Lamar Jackson's been hurt. He's got some kind of leg injury or something like that. And the Ravens season's kind of falling apart. But you took it to the Bears, you took it to the Bengals, you took it to the Browns. Those I know those are kind of like the scrubs of the league right now. But it just can you. I mean that's can the Lions get back to that where they can compete with like the high level teams? That's something that we got to question ourselves going forward. I know the Lions were missing some guys. They're missing Terry
Yeah.
and Arnold. They're missing a few other pieces. A lot of guys got put in injured reserve. So, it's kind of one of those things that makes you a little bit nervous. You're losing some guys to IR and you're facing a tough schedule coming up. Maybe Lions fans are going a little bit like, yeah, but, I still have some good feelings about this team. I mean, games like this happen. It's a tall order to go into Arrowhead and win against Patrick Mahomes for any team in the league. Even I know the Chiefs, they're kind of having a down season this year. They're just now they're 300. They were 2-3, but they're looks like they're kind of getting back on the swing of things.
I was
But yeah,
gonna
go ahead.
say I don't think they're having a down season, and Collinsworth is on there on one knee with most of Mahomes in his mouth, basically saying, "Oh, this is better than 15 and whatever season they had. This team is probably going to be even better." And it's like,
Yeah,
okay, we get it. They're a good team, Tom. You're right. They're
yeah,
healthy, right? They have Chris Jones, Travis Kelsey, and Patrick Mahomes.
yeah.
He has options at receivers.
Mhm.
They're built just like us. Very comparable game. There's a reason the stat sheet looked like it. But guess what? Right now, when you take both of our teams and you put us head to head and you give them the home field advantage, they're the better team.
Yeah,
And that's not something that last week I told you was going to be a weird statement or a false statement.
yeah.
That's a true statement right now. So
Mhm.
it's just like he said, it's going to be a road to the end of the season. It's going to be a little different now and a different perspective, but I still
Yep.
think it's the same perspective. This is one of those games where I think you're just going to have to lose a couple games every season.
Yeah.
Everybody does. This is one I'm okay losing to. I don't want to be the fucking Cowboys who lost to the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
They lost to the Panthers, right? So
Yeah. I
if we're
mean,
gonna lose, let's lose to Kansas City in prime time with a bunch of goofy penalties where they lined up in the neutral zone and they had to cheat like they always do to win. And
yeah.
St. Brown has a weird drop. Like, let's do that. This isn't a Goff 4 interception and it's all crumbling down
Yeah.
game. So
No.
I don't know. That's
No,
my
it's
two
just one of those
cents.
things. This season, I kind of figured at the start of the season it was going to be kind of an emotional roller coaster. And, it's just going to be one of those things. We might have a couple more losses that are going to sting. Every loss stings to a certain degree, whether
Yeah,
you're losing to whoever. But,
yeah, they
I
do.
think this team has enough where they can move forward and they can be competitive. I'm not like hitting the panic button or nothing. It's just one of those things. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
That's what I'll categorize this. I'm not
it is.
freaking out. I'm not about, it's one of those things. It sucks to lose to the Chiefs. I despise the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is everything I hate, but um they're still a good team. I know they said they had kind of a down season, but maybe I probably misspoke a little bit because they're still the Chiefs. They still have
Well,
one of the most dangerous rosters in the league, but
they had a slow start. They just
yeah,
had
they
a
did.
slow
They
start
did.
in a small sample size. And if you want to talk about slow start in a small sample size, 2 weeks ago when we were playing what was it? 2 weeks ago we were playing the Browns.
Yeah.
We're looking at the best defense in the NFL, right?
Yep.
Kevin Stefanski just got fired. He's gone.
Yeah.
The coach is out. So the best defense in the NFL, the coach is out. So this is all just a very small sample size. Now we know what we have in our Lions, and we're very happy with it. But on a small sample size, Kansas City Chiefs are still a better team than us because they've just won 3 Super Bowls. So until
Yeah.
somebody else can do that, they're always going to be better than us.
Yeah.
In the division, I still think and know in my heart we're the best team. We could still currently beat the Packers the way things set.
Yeah.
Um, So we got the Buccaneers at Monday night. I still think that's a game that's where we go out and reset the narrative at home. We know
Hmm.
what Goff does at home. He
Yes.
blows the shit. He blows things up. Now it's going to be a tough one. Like
Yes.
you said, Baker is going to give us a run for our money, but I feel way more confident in that game where it's like, okay, guys, if everybody's on their A's, ABCs, and P's and Q's, and whatever the fuck you want to call it, that's a game where you win. Same thing, Vikings. We got back-to-back home games. Vikings at home. That's a game that I think we win.
Hmm.
Lions at Commanders. I'm okay with winning that game too. And then you're
Yeah.
right, here come the Eagles. Now, this is a nice way for what I'm trying to say is if we can pepper in a couple losses to some respectful teams, um, I'm okay with that because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, on top, we win the division. As long as we win we just have to stay healthy and get when we're in the playoffs, Hermdale. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things. Um, you're gonna lose games like this. It happens. Like I said before, but I still have a good feeling about this Lions team. I still think we can compete with any team in the league for the most part. Um, we're gonna. I mean, you figured you're gonna take a step back from last year. That kind of they really played above their heads last year. At least in some regards, I felt. But um, I'm not. It's just you know, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. In,
No.
in the big scheme of things, I still think we're gonna have a really good season. I still
Yep.
think the division is in sight. I
Yep.
mean, I still think there's a lot of positive developments. I'm not worried about our division. I'm not really worried about the Vikings or the Bears or the Packers, even though the Packers did kind of get under our skin that first game. But
That was
I
just a
still
different looking game, different
yeah,
looking
that was
team.
more fluky than anything. I mean, you want to talk about flukes? Look what Jackson Dart did to the Philadelphia Eagles the other day. It's one
Exactly.
of those. It's just one of those things that happens. Does that mean the Eagles season is over? No. I mean, maybe it means maybe the Giants are a little bit more respectable under Jackson Dart. I mean, but look what like Cam Scatabo is doing. That guy's all over my Twitter feed, just all 5'2" of him. I mean, the guy's absolutely insane. But
Well, and
so
anytime you're interjecting that new energy into
yeah,
a team, you're going to get that little bit of blurb where no one knows how to prepare for you. So you're going to get away with a lot of that stuff. But dude,
yep,
give it enough time for Dart and Scatabo to be schemed enough to where teams are going to go, we'll slow you down and make you human. And we see that every week, and that's what the NFL does. And
yeah.
um,
Any given Sunday.
any given Sunday, right? I didn't really get to watch a lot of the games. I found myself doing a lot of yard work today. With it being such a prime time game, it was like, all right,
Yeah.
got to get some stuff done.
Yeah, I
But
had some stuff going around the house. I watched bits and pieces of my dad was watching it. He was kind of just like he was texting me. I was doing some other work around the house. He was just like, they're losing tonight. They're losing tonight. They got all these dumb penalties. He gets all into it. And I was kind of popping in and out, watching here and there. But when the fourth quarter came up, I'm just kind of like, yeah, they just don't got it. I saw that catch by uh Laporta. That was incredible. I
it
saw that
was
22-yard dart to Jamison Williams. It's just one of those things. I mean, there's some positive takeaways from this game. I mean,
tons.
but
A lot
yeah,
of
it's just
explosive plays.
a
A
lot of
lot of people
explosive
got
plays.
involved. A
Hmm.
lot of big time plays. The
Yeah.
offensive line blocking was phenomenal considering
Yes.
Taylor Decker. And that's another thing that I'd like to say. Taylor Decker coming back healthy. What we saw with just what we've had to deal with him
Hmm.
being gone, I think they've done a really nice job considering Dan
Yeah.
Skipper came back. So,
Yep. Happy
um,
to see him.
considering where we were last year with that, just everything with where this was going, I'm okay, right? So look at this. Like you said, you have the Eagles and the Giants. You
Hmm.
saw that coming. I did. I actually called.
Yeah.
Selesky called me or texted me and said, "Hey, here's my picks. What do you think?" I said, "For some reason, I see the Giants beating the Eagles. Okay, but this is the Eagles going to the Meadowlands. Giants,
Yeah.
new energy with Dart and Scatterbo. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Kansas City's all got this, energy coming home in prime time. No big deal. Broncos,
Yep.
Jets, dude. Broncos beat the Jets. What a joke.
That
What
was.
a
Didn't they?
fucking joke.
I was just thinking about. I was watching that at work, and I'm just thinking. we're trying to grow the game internationally. We want to build up a UK audience.
Yeah.
You're giving him that. You're giving him Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn's. You're giving him the Broncos sackarama. Didn't he get sacked like 9 times or something? It was absolutely a 13-11
Pathetic.
game. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
You're giving them
Jesus.
you're giving them 13-11.
I mean, can we start asking questions about Aaron Glenn, or do you think it's too early still? Or
I think
don't
it's
know,
too
man.
early considering the Jets. I think that team
Yeah,
was a nuclear missile before he got there,
yeah.
and the fact that he disarmed it by getting rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Oh
Um,
God.
it'll all be now into see this year. This draft will be his draft. Okay, what does Aaron
Yeah,
Glenn do? How much does the ownership give him to build a team? And after that, then it's like, dude, what are you doing there? But
yeah. I know. Give
Seahawks,
him some time.
Jaguars,
Yeah, that was fun.
20-12 Seahawks, Jaguars. You got Chargers, Dolphins 29-27.
You
So
had
some of these games, man, it's just like
it's exciting.
no, it's like balancing things around.
Yeah, I saw the Carolina and Cowboys game, and Carolina got the best of them. I was kind of
Yeah,
glad to see that.
right.
It's always fun to see the Cowboys lose one of those things. It was a tight game, but Carolina came out ahead. I like those new uniforms too. I got to say, that looks really slick. But
Right.
yeah, it's one of those things. There's lots of good action happening. I mean, this game was maybe maybe the Lions scored maybe another touchdown. It would have been a little more exciting, but this is one of those things. But
Yeah.
we're still in the Lions are still in the mix. We're still in the mix. We're still one of the leading the division and whatnot. But
They still a top 5 team in the NFL, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's KC, and we talked about this, right? It's KC, it's Buffalo, it's the Lions, it's Philadelphia, and if there's a fifth out there, it's the Buccaneers. There's your top
yeah,
5. Those
all
are your
these other
top 5
teams.
teams.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But look at some of the losses some of these top teams have had. The Chiefs lost to the Jaguars. Look at that loss. The Patriots beat the Bills. I know Drake May is kind of turning some heads lately, but
He is.
no one really expected that to happen.
Listen, and I don't want to say anything negative to my buddy Wayne and his Buffalo Bills, but the Bills are playing at Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is really good. They're
Yes.
2-2. This is one of those games where can Buffalo go be 4-2 while Atlanta is 3-2? And the same thing where if that happens, the Bills are still a great team. The Bills are still a
Yeah.
Super Bowl team. Josh Allen
Absolutely.
is still a god. It's not a big deal, but hey, that's just those kind of balance shifting games where the NFL gives it to you, where it's not as predictable like the other sports can be, like Major League Baseball, right?
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
predictable.
Yeah, let's watch the Dodgers win another World Series. No, thank you. Oh God, what a vomitous, disgusting franchise. I despise them.
It is, and it's like I said to you, and I said to everybody else, say goodbye to Tarek Skubal. He's gone.
Oh,
Tarek said he'd say goodbye to Tarek Skubal. He's not going to be a Detroit Tiger for life. He is a West Coast boy. He cannot wait to be paid by the Dodgers. They have a left arm that is going away.
Yeah. No, it's just you're going to see him in the blue and white. I hate to say it. He's not. I mean, he hasn't been talking to. He put out people were speculating. There was a thing on Twitter he posted. Oh, thank you, Detroit. He's out the door. He wants to get the hell out. I mean, he's not even talking to the Tigers front office anymore. And I was posting this about some of the last like 5 performances he had with the division on the line and in the playoffs. He was posting like he's going 6-7 innings into the game, like 1 earned run, 8-9 strikeouts, and of those 5 games, the I think the highest strikeout rate he had was 14. Remember that 14 strikeout game he had? And then the Tigers were 1-4 in those games. Those games with some of the best pitching performances since Verlander, easily, maybe even better than Verlander in some regards. He was setting Tigers records.
And to me, that's why I'm not trying to sound mean about this, but yes, let's move on from him. Because guess what? He's doing really well, and there's another team that could really use him, but that's not working here for us. Like,
no,
I remember, Tom, when you would see, sorry, Herbdo, I don't want to break kayfabe. My bad. Don't punish me. When Verlander pitched, you just knew they were going to win. There wasn't anything to worry about. He was so fucking dominant. And
Well, we actually had,
Scherzer, 85% you knew he was going to
yeah,
win. As long as he was getting some good run support, you knew
yeah,
he was going to win. So it was like those were 2 games that you looked at every time they played going, we got those games. But with
yeah,
Skubal, it's like, dude, he's going to be fucking historically dominant, but we're not
yeah.
going to win. I
We're
know
not
it.
going to win. Yeah,
I know it.
it just, you can't. I mean, granted, back then we had Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder and Victor Martinez and JD Martinez. We had an explosive
Yeah,
offense
but the
back then.
velocity that man's ball.
Yeah.
The other
Oh yeah,
teams
but
just
Tarek
didn't
Skubal is
do
next
anything,
level. Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true. But I mean, the way the Tigers are constituted now, they need a massive, like they got to start spending some cash. And if you don't want to
We
pay
need a Vlad
Skubal,
Guerrero.
we need a Vlad Guerrero. Yeah, we need something like that. But we need somebody who can, actually show up in the big spots, and somebody who can actually give some run support and be a leader, be a true guy to put in that 3 slot or something, be a real true cleanup hitter, and be able to hit some fastballs and shit. But it's just one of those things. We need a big investment in offense. That's what we need. We
We
need
do.
some bats to be brought in here. These farmhand guys, all the guys that came up through the drafting system, some of Alavila's guys, they worked out. I love Riley Green. I love Spencer Torkelson. I love Kerry Carpenter. And Kerry Carpenter did show up in Game 5. He was the
He
only
did
Tiger that did.
4 for
Colt
5.
Keith sure didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, Javier Baez even showed up a little bit. He's been electric in the postseason. It's incredible. I mean, 3 years of nothing, and then he has an all-star caliber season. Yeah, he's had some bouts with a few weeks for him, just not like he's going like 1 for 28 or something. But still, I mean, Javier Baez. I mean, he's actually living up to that contract for once in the last 3 years we've had him. But yeah, but besides some of the, I mean, but yeah, when Torkelson and Green aren't hitting, this thing just goes off the rails. When McKinstry is not hitting, when Colt Keith, you can't rely on him, and all the other guys. It's just like these guys are good dynamic players, and they have brought us like some success. I'm never gonna poo poo a Tigers postseason berth, but with
No.
Game 5, it's
Nor
all
should
on the
you.
line. And it's just like they lost in. Some people say it was an amazing game. It's an amazing game. My dad's a boomer. He's all talking about how amazing the game was, and I'm just like, they left 10 men on base.
There's
They
nothing
pulled out
amazing
Skubal too
about that.
early. Yeah, they didn't have Tyler Holton out there to face a lefty. It was just a big mess. Just some real weird management from AJ Hinch. He's really left me scratching my head lately. But it's one of those games, and you can't rely on Tommy Kahnle. You put him in and pretty much just say goodbye to the game. But it was crazy seeing Jack Flaherty out there in the 13th. He was shutting him down. He was like talking to himself on the mound, like Mark the Bird Fidrich or something. It was kind of fun to see. But 5 hours of that, just it was excruciating. It was absolutely excruciating. You just saw the Tigers just fail comprehensively. And now the season's over. And I mentioned it. I don't know if I'm not happy the Tigers lost, but after this last month of Tigers baseball, I'm just kind of glad I don't have to cover this team anymore. It's barring some crazy offseason news. Maybe if we go out and get Alex Bregman or something, a lot
I'll
of people
bet
are saying
any money on it we don't.
probably not. I don't know. Maybe we do. Do we even want him? He's on the wrong side of 30. He'd definitely be an upgrade at third base. He has.
Does he
still
want to
has some
be
pop
here
in his
though?
bat. I think he does a little bit. He did.
You do?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I don't get that
It's hard with
feeling. I
him.
really don't.
You don't get that feeling from him? Well,
No.
that's understandable. I think he might want to come here. He might not have a problem with. I know we're going to get some. I mean, we were going to be worried about resigning other guys like Gleyber Torres is going to come back. Do we want him back? What about Kyle Finnegan? Is he going to stick around? He was excellent in relief. Granted, he had a couple bad moments. He was letting runs across the plate and shit. But
I'm
but
cool
yeah,
with
just
Glaber. I just think for the
yeah.
right money, and I think he wants to get paid. So I think he.
I
Goes
think he wants to.
somewhere
Yeah,
else.
I think he wants to be here, but he might. I don't want to set anything in stone right now. I mean, the wounds are still open. It's still. I mean, the season hasn't even been. I feel like we just put the coffin in the ground, and the ground is still being filled. We're still getting into this offseason stuff. I don't know. I mean, we talked about some of the possible postseason off-season additions. But we can get into that later. Right now, let's just root for the Dodgers to lose. But
That's
yeah,
the
just
best
going
way.
forward,
That's the best
yeah,
thing I've ever heard. Let's
let's
root for
just
the
root. I
Dodgers
mean,
to
we got to
lose.
see, yeah, we got to see the Yankees lose, which is good. We got to see, one thing that's entertaining, looking at the Mets, another $300 million
Yes.
boondoggle.
Yes.
You bring in
Yes.
Juan Soto, and yeah, he was good for you guys. Don't get me wrong, but they slapped around the Tigers that one series. That was pretty pathetic. But your whole $300 million experiment fails again. Your World Series aspirations fail again. They brought in Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer that one year, and it didn't get them anywhere. I think the Mets just one of those teams. I mean, it's a mess. Thank God we're not the
You know
Mets.
what's
I'll just say
funny?
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I'm sitting over here. I made fun of a guy who's born in Michigan, who is an Atlanta Braves fan, and I said, "Have fun with your." Basically, I said, made a joke about your bloated payroll for never winning, and he's like, "Oh, we have no payroll." I'm like, "You're top fucking 7 in payroll. What are you kidding me? Of $214 million in
Yeah,
2025." So you have
yeah,
the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Rangers, the Astros, the Braves, the Padres, and the Cubs. And I'm
yeah,
okay with us being in the position we're in because we're not on that list. Cool.
yeah. That's true. That's true. But if you want to win, they were talking about this on Valenti a little while ago. But Tigers, like they're 18th in payroll right now. They're almost bottom 10 in payroll. I don't know what the exact number is off the top of my head. I think it's less than 150 million. I'm not sure. But after that Cabrera money
20th.
comes off, a 20th, yeah, a big a big chunk, a big chunk is still dedicated to Javier Baez. You're still paying him 26 million. I don't know what the next 2 years of him is going to look like, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the
There's a lot
Tigers.
of money that comes off the books. You're right.
I think there is a lot of money that comes off the books, but I don't know if the Tigers. I think you need to spend. I don't think need to spend $300 million, but you probably should be a top 10 payroll team because the last team that was like a bottom 10 payroll team to win, I think it was the '97 Marlins, if I'm not mistaken. But every other team has had like a top 5, top 10 payroll. But it's just I don't know if that's still going to be the case. And if they start, I've been hearing some rumblings about like a salary cap getting instituted and there being a lockout for maybe a year or so, like it did
Whatever.
with the NHL. I don't know about that. I've heard some rumblings about that, but I don't know. But like moreover on the Tigers, I think can this roster, what did the Tigers need to add? They need to add some rotational guys, you know. But granted, I mean, once we get Reese Olson and Jackson Jobe back, maybe everything will work out. I mean, losing Terry Skubal, I mean, I'm just gonna with the assumption he's gone.
You should. He's gone.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be like that. It's like when Max Scherzer left. I mean, they offered him a low ball. He just said "fuck you" and went to Washington to actually win something. But yeah,
Different
I
teams,
mean,
though.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But uh, hard to believe that the Washington Nationals won a National World Series only like 6 years ago. But anyways,
Isn't it?
um, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the Tigers don't have to spend too much. I still, I still trust AJ Hinch. I still trust Scott Harris for the most part. Um, I think for the most, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm still thinking
Now's
about it. I'm
now's
trying
not
to
the
like
time. Now's
justify
not
this
the time to
shit.
word it. Yeah, as I say, don't use the T word or trust.
Yeah.
But we did have someone jump into the chat,
Okay.
Hermdo, who
Brandon
claims
Hallam.
this. Yeah, he claims that games are rigged. I mean, dude, do
Oh,
you want to get me started on what's rigged in sports and what's not rigged in
yeah.
sports?
You
Because
know, and people were saying, there was some controversy. I know he's probably talking about the Lions game, but there was some controversy in this last Tigers game, Game 5, where apparently I don't remember who was batting, but it was a Mariners batter. He showed bunt, and the ball bounced off his bat, but he acted like he got hit by the pitch. He was granted first base. A lot of Tigers fans were up in arms about that. A
Travis
lot of
Kelsey
Tigers fans,
today with the ball absolutely touching the ground and
yeah.
allowing him to complete the catch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. It's rigged in the sense of it's manipulated when it needs to be because there's
Yeah,
ways to. So that's
but
clearly a way where they can go, what's better for the situation right now?
but I'll
Right. So
say,
it is.
yeah,
But to my point is, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you don't drop that ball,
no,
then you don't let these gatekeepers in the
yeah,
NFL that you don't
you
let
don't
them
let
be
the.
able to hit them switches.
I was never a big fan of blaming the officials. If the Tigers, I know that was bad. I mean, Tigers have we've seen the Tigers and the Lions can get jobbed a lot, but my solution to that is you just score more goddamn points. Just score more
Yeah.
goddamn points.
Hey,
That's the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you can do this conspiracy shit. You can sound like Alex Jones talking about phantom penalties or whatever. At the end of the day, you just got to score more points. And we've seen countless Lions loss after countless Lions loss. Some against Green Bay. I remember it was a game against Green Bay. This is probably over a decade ago now. I think it was during the Jim Schwartz era, maybe, or maybe the Jim Caldwell era, but like they lost a game against the Packers, and it was a pretty clear like phantom penalty against Detroit. But they had that somebody bought a billboard. I think it was on 696 or
yeah,
96, but
yeah,
it was
yep,
the ref wearing a cheese head.
yep.
Remember that? That's
I
how
do.
Detroit sports fans,
It's
this
petty,
victim complex shit.
so
I'm. s-
petty.
It's petty. It's
It's
funny.
petty.
It's
It's
funny.
funny.
I'll give
I
them
like
that,
it though.
but it's so fucking petty. And the Lions fans got this victim complex. I'm sorry, man. But odd that a team can get 3 flags on Monday and 0 on Sunday.
We
Yeah,
talked
I was
about
going to bring that
this.
up. Yeah,
We talked about this because the few flags that we did get called against us were
hmm
kind of like, okay, nothing gets called on them. You get to call what you want to call on us just at the right time. They weren't meaningful penalties as far as yardage.
yeah,
It just how happened to be at that certain time. So,
yeah. They're
but hey,
momentum killers. They were momentum
that's
killers.
it. But again, we got to go back to it and say, listen, when you go to Kansas City, right, in prime time, especially early on in the season when they need a win,
Yeah,
dude, you gotta have everything going right, dude.
yeah,
It's just like going into a fucking a mob ran casino in the 60s and you owe them money, dude. You better be on your A game or you're gonna
yeah.
get whacked. They're gonna pull out all their fucking tricks.
Yep,
And they
yep,
did.
definitely.
They did.
Yeah, they
But
sure did.
you wouldn't catch them pulling that shit in Detroit because it wouldn't be that type of game. So
No.
damn.
Yeah, Detroit is not the darling of the NFL. Maybe they
No.
were for a little bit, but not anymore.
No, it was a cute
Lions.
story
It
last
it
year.
doesn't. It was a cute story last year, but it's one of those things. The Lions are just going to be one of those teams. They get jobbed, and it
Yeah.
sucks. But you got to be able to rise above that shit.
Yep.
And the Lions have been doing so good in prime time. Dan Campbell is like a miracle worker in prime time. He's been lights out. But just one of those games. It's a big game on a Sunday night. You let one get away from you. It's one of those things. Um,
And
but
Hermdale, like you said it,
yeah,
for us guys in our era, it was just like going to Foxborough on prime time with Brady and Belichick.
yeah.
It's like, oh shit, here we go. They're not gonna lose. And it
You
didn't matter
know,
who you sent in there. It could be Peyton Manning and the Colts. Everything was gonna be tipped to the Patriots.
yeah, exactly. The only Lions coach that was able to beat the Patriots was Matt Patricia. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah. What kind of Patriots are we talking about? Was Tom Brady the
Ooh,
quarterback?
yuck. Yeah, that was back in the day. That was
Yeah.
back 2018. That was a terrible year. Um, Oh God, there's so many lines. Whenever I see the Lions lose, there's so many memories that come floating back. The Lions don't lose too much anymore these days, but
No.
ugh,
No,
ugh.
no, and
But
those were different times and those were different
yeah,
days.
oh baby, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, we're past those days now, but um, so I don't know if you did you follow the Michigan game at all? I know Michigan State got their asses beat. Jonathan Smith is 8-10 as Michigan State head coach. Um, they lost to a one-win UCLA team. It was
Jeez.
pretty grisly. It
I was
was
gonna
pretty
say
grisly.
he's gonna be out of town. I watched the Michigan game and I thought to myself, okay, this is another one. Anytime a Big Ten opponent goes out and plays on the West Coast, they lose. Doesn't really
Yeah.
matter what the situation was. So I thought
Hmm.
that was going to be a really fun moment for me to see Bryce Underwood out there. And I thought he looked great for what I expected out of him.
Yeah.
Michigan defense is still pretty nasty, but USC seemed to have found a nice situation with Lincoln Riley. He's found his group of
Yeah.
quarterbacks. This isn't our year to be a dominant bully on the road,
No,
but this is definitely our year to win big matchups at home with our
I
defense.
think so.
So this is still a year where I think we can beat Ohio State at home, not in the horseshoe, but at home. If our
Yeah.
defense is playing like Scud missiles, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But Justice Hayes still looks really cool. I'm hoping we don't really waste him. But yeah, I watched a little bit of that game. I kind of knew it was going to end the way it did.
Yeah.
Um,
I watched a little bit of both games. Um, it's just one of those things, I figured I had Michigan penciled in as like a maybe 8-win team this year. It's looking like it's probably going to wind up that way. I just
yeah,
want to see Bryce get more development, more playing
yeah,
time under his belt.
he's so
The only
young,
thing
but he
that
looks
he's
good for
so
what
young.
he is. He looks
Yeah.
good.
I have pairs of pants older than Bryce Underwood, so I'm not freaking out. It's one of
Yes.
those things. When he gets more development, that's the only thing I'm worried about. Sharon Moore, we can have that discussion. How is this guy going to be here for the long
A lot of
term?
his
Should we
stuff
do it?
is older than Bryce Underwood.
Yeah, yeah. Which is one of those things. But yeah, how about Penn State firing James Franklin after 11 years?
That was kind of surprising. I feel like uh, Michael Keegan Michael Anthony Key or whatever.
Keegan Michael Key,
Yeah, that that
the one
goofball.
name I remember.
Yeah, in not to sound mean, and I did think Key and Peele was funny, but
Yes.
um, I he just seems like, can he stop telling everybody he's from Detroit? Like
Yeah.
he's really fucking annoying. Say you're
I
from
know.
Grand Rapids, but just don't say you're
I know.
from Detroit.
I know. We don't
Um,
need you.
yeah, we don't need you. You're like the people from Detroit are cool and like funny, and Detroiters not like these like um God, he's just such a theater kid. Anyway,
He's
sorry.
a try hard, yeah.
He's such a
But
tryhard.
you
But
know,
no,
I
anyways,
mean,
eh, he's gone out of Penn State.
yeah,
I'm really actually curious to see who takes that job, because that's not a job that you just give to
yes,
anybody and you just pass around. So
hmm
I thought for sure though Mike McDaniels would be the first head coach fired in the NFL, and it was Stefanski. And I think he's
yeah,
okay with it. I don't think he wants to be the Browns head coach. I'm sure he's
yeah.
okay with it because I
Oh, I
actually
bet
think
he's
he's a
going.
decent coach. I really think
Yeah,
he's a decent coach. So look
yeah,
for him to get a nice fresh start somewhere else or back to
yeah,
coordinator status.
probably.
And
But
look for
yeah,
Jim
just what
Schwartz to take over this Browns coaching job. He's a Browns coach.
you never know, you never know. But yeah, just more on Penn State. When you have three losses, three straight Big Ten losses like that, three upset losses,
Yeah.
and that brutal loss to UCLA, and they just lost again. They who they lose to? Was it Illinois? Not Illinois. I'm going to look it up real quick just so I don't sound like too much of an asshole. Typing on
Something
my
tells me the
computer.
recruiting fell into the tank.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing with James Franklin gone. What do we? Yeah, another loss to Northwestern. Ooh, Northwestern. Ew.
Yeah,
This
you
was the
can't do
number
that.
two. This was the number 2 ranked team, in the league in college football, and now your coach is gone with a $50 million buyout. They gave James Franklin $50 million and gave him the boot.
Good
If
for
I'm James
him.
Franklin, good for him. Good for him. I don't think he. I mean, I think he was a good coach, but I mean, against like big games, he was
He was a
just
good coach. He's not great, and that's what you
no.
have to
He
be when
wasn't.
you're at one of those big
Yeah,
schools.
he wasn't a next level guy. And Penn State, the Penn State, in some ways, they kind of remind me of like Michigan a little bit. I mean, just one. I mean, before the Harbaugh era, maybe the Carr era or something like that. Like maybe the late in the Carr era, where they just couldn't really win those big games anymore.
Yeah,
James Franklin.
big
It's
names,
a Penn
big
State's.
recruits, not big
Yeah,
results.
big names, big recruits. Michigan could recruit. But they got a lot of talent. And Penn State, obviously, a lot of guys, came out of that program. Penn State's still an extremely respectable program, but
Yep.
they just couldn't win the big games. It was just like
Nope.
guaranteed losses against Michigan and Ohio State every single year. And that loss against Oregon, it's one of those things, kind of like it's Oregon, for God's sake, but Oregon just lost to Indiana, another Big Ten powerhouse, apparently.
They're
But
not.
yeah, it's
Well, this is the transfer portal, dude, and this is
yeah,
NIL. So as
yeah,
long as you can pay enough money to have a quarterback come play at your school,
yep,
but this is what's going to be good though. This is what you're going to be able to level set now. So all these schools can spend money. All these schools
yep,
can go out and get themselves a quarterback. That's what you need, right? Portnoy was the reason why we got fucking Underwood. And you
yep,
look at that and you say, okay, well, every school is going out there and doing the same thing. Give me a big donor, give me a big checkbook, and say, hey, do you want to go? Do all of you want to go to Alabama and OSU and be first, second, third string, and then maybe transfer to LSU or have your moment
yeah,
at Georgia for one season, like and get paid under the table? Or do you just want to get paid? Do you want to come here? Let's start a program.
yeah,
It's just like the NFL. Go out and get yourself a quarterback, young, pay him a ton of money, build it around him, and recruit around him. And what do you think's going to happen? You're going to see teams like how we have it now with these playoffs where there's just all these different schools in it, and it's not just Georgia, LSU, Alabama. Oh, they're
yeah,
all
yeah. It's
undefeated,
all
and
SEC bullshit.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
dude, who gives a shit anymore?
I
You
know.
know?
It's the same boring pay for play shit. Now the field's open. You're seeing, Indiana's a surprising story. What Kurt Signetti is doing there is nothing short of miraculous. But he's actually got some money behind him.
Well,
And,
that's the thing. It's if you got money behind you, dude, and you're the right guy, then good luck, good at it, right?
yeah, even that playing field, baby. That's what I want to see. I want to see more
Yes.
Big Ten national championships. I want to see more of
Yes.
that stuff.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it doesn't
Enough with
have
the
to just be
SEC.
Michigan and Ohio State. I
Yeah,
really they could take a break from both of those teams. Dude, that's why I'm saying let Michigan State come back. I want Michigan State to go out and get a respectable head coach and go out
yep,
and get a quarterback, because what you guys have had since, and I'm not saying you, but them as the program, what they've
yeah,
had since D'Antonio's left is a joke. You had a
yeah.
powerhouse. You built a powerhouse, and he left.
Your top 5 finishes, top 5 defenses,
Oh,
slapping
his
around Michigan
linemen
like a
were
redheaded
nasty.
stepchild.
Yes,
Those were disgusting times.
he was such
He
a good
punished
coach.
U of M, man. It was
Yes,
pathetic. And he slapped
yes,
around Harbaugh a little bit too.
he
But
did.
the way he ended his career was pretty pathetic, not firing anybody after 2016. I
Yeah,
mean, Mike Folletti talks about it to this day, but
yes,
we
yes,
saw, I mean, because Michigan State was a scary program for a while.
was.
And they still have some cachet. I know we hate the Spartans, but I can respect them enough, you know. Um, but where do they go from here? That's the thing, We ask some questions about this. I mean, are they going to go crazy? Are they going to bring in Urban Meyer or something? There's a lot of MSU slaps online talking about that, but
They'll
it's
never
just one
do
of those.
that.
No, I know that. It's just fun to
MSU
talk about.
boosters are too weak to do
Yeah,
that. They don't want to win bad enough to bring in Urban Meyer, and that's the thing. They don't want to win at football bad enough to bring in
yeah.
any badasses.
Do you imagine Urban
Let's.
Meyer?
Oh, screw it. We could do probably a month on just Urban Meyer at MSU.
Yeah,
Um,
you gotta love the guy.
oh,
We knew
dude,
he's
he's
an old
nuts.
crusty old pervert, but that's
Oh,
okay.
I know. It's like, what are you gonna get when you got the Ultimate Warrior? You're gonna get the
Yeah,
Ultimate Warrior. So
yeah,
fucking,
exactly.
it's weird, but you're gonna get it. That's what you get
Oh
with Urban
yeah,
Meyer. So
yes,
I
yes,
I
yes.
don't think MSU wants another crusty old pervert. I don't think they want any bullies. I think that for them they're going to try and look for young youth. I think they really shit the
Yeah,
bed with this dude. Every time I
yeah,
see what's his name, John Smith or whatever,
yeah. Jonathan Smith.
Jonathan Smith, like you, he just looks, dude. He looks like the carpenter or that like stumbled up on stage and he's like lost and he's like, wait, what's going on? There's a press conference. Like he looks like he's part of the maintenance team. He just
Yeah,
doesn't look
he
the
looks
part of a
scared.
coach. He does.
He looks
He looks
he
so
looks like a
afraid.
terrified little boy.
He's so
And he
afraid.
just yeah he
Ugh.
was he was with Oregon State for a while.
Oh
He
my
won a
god.
few, he had some good stops along the way, but
Here it is,
it's
Tom.
just
This is what they're going to do. Matt
go ahead.
Patricia is going to leave Ohio State as a defensive
Oh,
coordinator and come to Michigan State. He will be
oh
the
my!
head coach of Michigan State. I will love it. Oh, I will love it. I will just drive up to East Lansing every day at practice.
Imagine, imagine his green and white poncho covering his. Actually, he's skinny now, but I mean, but he still got that pencil and the laminate and all that shit.
Oh, he'd find a reason to ride a fucking
Yeah,
four-wheeler at practice.
God, that Patricia and OSU, that's so incredible. I still can't believe that's happening, but
I know, and there's somebody on TikTok that was like, "Oh, he's doing so good for us at OSU." I'm like, "Have him, take him forever.
have them
Just
take
please
them.
tell him he's not welcome back up here." But yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
guys. You can have Matt Patricia all you want.
yeah.
If you
Oh
think
God,
that's what's doing it to you, you just have a workhorse of recruiting at Ohio State.
yeah. Ryan Day needs all the help he can get.
He does. Well, hey, listen, dude.
Yeah,
It's about an hour. I got to work in the morning.
I dig it.
I appreciate you coming on here after this
No
loss.
problem.
It wasn't as emotional as I thought it was going to be.
Nah, it's just whatever.
And you know, and I'll tell you what, I didn't think it was going to be. I thought this was going to be one of those L's, and it's what it was.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We're going to get better. We know our team. They're going to make adjustments.
Yep.
The guys, I don't have to say it anymore. We know we're going to come out swinging against the Bucks.
Yeah.
You got anything to say before I sign off?
No. Wings. I maybe bring up Wings real quick, but
Oh
that
yeah,
first
yeah.
game was absolutely god awful.
Yes,
John
atrocious.
Gibson, five goals on 13 shots, getting pulled early. The only goal coming from Dylan Larkin, and then you got game 2, the second game of the season against Toronto Maple Leafs. A dangerous team out there in Toronto. We went in there and slapped them around. I think it was at Little Caesars, but still we slapped them around. Steve Dangle talking his shit. Hey, suck it, Steve. You can hear that
Yeah,
from
suck it,
Hermdo.
Steve.
Suck it. 6-3. All the young guys are scoring. We got one from Andrew Kopp too. Lucas Raymond out there showing them how it's done. Marco Casper, Simone Edvinson. Real solid game. They got down 2 after the first period, but they really cleaned up the fundamentals in the first game. It was sloppy, bad passing, bad forecheck, a lot of odd man rushes, one of those things. But they cleaned it up for game 2. They looked a hell of a lot better. And all 9 of the draft picks on the roster looked good. Alex DeBrincat, the free agent signing, one of Steve Eisman's, actually good free agent moves. Had 3 assists. They really looked good. Maybe the season won't be as long as I thought, but I think it's going to be. We're still going to get streaky Wings, baby. We're still going to get a lot of streakiness from the Wings. I'll put like a actual official video together for you when I get some time. I got my work schedule's nutty right now, but we'll get some Wings talk going as the season goes on. I think it's going to be a streaky kind of season. They're going to lose a few, win a few, lose a few, win a few. Hopefully they can keep it together in late in the season in February and March, because that's where they've been falling apart. I want to see what a full season of Todd McClellan looks like. Can he drag this team kicking and screaming back into the playoffs? I think he can, but more on that later. But yeah, we got that going on. Pistons preseason's happening. I know we barely talk Pistons at all, but I want to start doing a little bit more Pistons content. Cade Cunningham's too good of a player to not talk about, so we'll get more into that. But yeah, it's just standard. It's just the Lions loss. It's just Lions loss against a top 5 team at home in prime time. Not the end of the world. It's not to be unexpected, but it's one of those things. Tigers. We'll see. Really disappointing into the season. One of those games, it was absolute torture. I saw people joking around about it. Some Yankees fan was like, watching a game with no rooting interest where both teams' fan bases are going through hell, and he's like frolicking through a field. He posted some GIF or something. It's just like, fucking Yankees. I'm so glad they lost to the Blue Jays. I'm so fucking sick of the Yankees. Everybody from New York needs to go to hell. But anyways, that's all I got. That's all I wanted to say. But thanks for having me on. Sorry about the audio issues. Hopefully we can get it fixed next time, and I'm not bumbling around like an idiot for the first 20 minutes of the show.
It wasn't any of your audio issues. I had my headphones muted, so I couldn't hear you. It was totally my fault. So all me, not you, all me.
Now you tell me, you son
all
of a bitch.
Me, all me. I'm like, God damn it, let me hit this. I can hear him now.
Oh, Lord. We have fun.
We do. So thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we will be chatting tomorrow. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, sir. Yep.